today. Our company has had a lot of exciting growth over the last year, and really we've allowed ourselves to be embedded into the workflow processes of a number of different job seekers. And that's allowed us to learn a lot about the experiences that job seekers are facing. And we thought we'd take some time to just talk about the changing technology ecosystem, what we're seeing, and how that's impacting job seekers. So before we get going, quick introduction. So my name is Jeffrey Doucette. I am the co-founder and CEO of CareerJSM. Founded the company about 2.5 years ago with my business partner because we were frustrated with the challenges that many of our peers face when transitioning from university and college into full-time employment. Over the last year, our product has been launched at over 20 universities across North America, as well as 20,000 job seekers, or 20,000 job seekers have used the product. In addition, we're also launching our product in early 2017 with one of the top Canadian and American outplacement companies, which has allowed us through pilot stage to expand into different verticals. What's different about our product is we have an unparalleled focus solely on the job seeker. We help anybody that has a client-facing job seeker. So that ranges from university and college career centers to outplacement shops, recruiting shops. And by focusing on the job seeker, we've learned a lot about the challenges they face. And that's what we wanted to talk about today. So for our goal, these are the goals from this webinar. We want to discuss what we're seeing in HR technology, the impact it's having on job seekers, and how we want to tip the competitive advantage in favor of the job seeker. So to start, there has been a dramatic shift in recruiting technology across North America in the last 15 years. It started with job board technology. In the early 2000s, job boards were built, giving access to employers to be able to start recruiting for the first time on the internet using popular sites such as Monster. This is where most of the job search happened on the internet in the early 2000s. And a lot of university and colleges or outplacement organizations responded by building their own job boards. Then, in the late 2000s, powerful aggregators were built. Web scraping technology, no different than Google, started powering job board aggregators, allowing job seekers to be able to search across employer websites, across job boards, from one portal all across North America. This also had tremendous impact on employers. Employers were now able to find more candidates than ever before, and if anything, started finding too many candidates for each position. It's easy to find 100 applications when you post a job on Indeed. As a result, in 2010, in the last 5 or 6 years, we've seen a third innovation that we think has even more profoundly impacted the job search experience for job seekers. With the advent of social networks, employers have started using relationships, referrals to place more of an emphasis on recruiting. In addition, through software as a service, companies like mine can embed a job board onto their website for $100 a month, where they can control their entire brand experience and interaction with their job seekers. And so this has meant that employers or job seekers are interacting with even more resources than they used to. And look at how that's changed. Over the last 15 years, you went from probably only using Monster to look for a job, to using 10 or 15 different resources in addition to social networks. And this is further even exemplified by this chart. We focus a lot on the candidate experience, which is the top line. And as you can see, we've moved from online job boards to job board aggregators to professional networks. But employers at the same time have become even more smarter during the job search experience when they're getting candidates. Their ATS systems have improved, and they know more about candidates than ever before. So when we look at the state of hiring in 2016, what's really struck out for us when we work with our different customers is that the employers control the process more than ever before. These employers can source more candidates than ever before, and they know more about these candidates than they ever have known before. They can receive thousands of applications and quickly distill it down to a number of candidates they're interested in with software. And as a result, they're moving to referrals and social hiring. Companies are realizing that they need to do more than just post a job online to connect with the right candidate. And what we've found is that fit for a company is no longer just determined through their resume. I love to use this graph to emphasize the problem that we've seen and how it's impacted the job search experience for job seekers. We've seen what we call employer-centric innovation, meaning that all of the innovation in the recruiting and HR space is about solving the problem of the employer. I want you guys to look at this graph I have up here on the screen. There's over 125 companies represented in this graph across a wide variety of topics or challenges that companies are trying to solve, from compensation and benefits to student recruiting, background checking, job boards, HR automation, candidate screening, candidate tracking and relationship management, a number of different topics. But what stands out to me when I look at this graph is that all of these companies in the HR space are trying to solve employers' problems, and they're making employers more educated and smarter than ever before. This impacts the job seeker's experience. And this is what's really resonated with us over the last year. All the companies that have delivered new products to the HR market have focused on solving employers' problems. Because of their monetization strategy, they have a bias towards employers' needs, even when they are trying to help job seekers. And this has created a more challenging, difficult experience for job seekers. To illustrate this, we want to walk you through two examples of two leading hiring resources. And by understanding how their business model works, we think we get a deeper understanding of how that impacts the job search experience and how they might not be the most optimal resources for a job seeker when they're looking for a job. LinkedIn, for example. LinkedIn is a very popular tool, and we certainly recommend that all of our users are using LinkedIn and that they're using it as part of their resource or part of their job search. But when we dive into even how LinkedIn is generating revenue, we start to understand where their true priorities lie. For example, this is based on LinkedIn's earnings report last year, but 59% of their revenue in the billions is from selling tools to HR departments, hiring revenue through their job board postings that guarantee a certain number of applicants and a certain number of candidates. Through sales tools, their premium sales subscriptions make up 19% of their revenue, as well as marketing tools such as advertisements and content marketing on LinkedIn. What we try to emphasize here is that LinkedIn is a popular service for all job seekers, but the primary value derived by LinkedIn is derived by businesses on the platform. That means that most of the tools and software they're building to take advantage of their platform are geared towards solving the problems not of the job seeker, but of the employer. In addition, Indeed. Now we know Indeed is one of the largest hiring resources in the world, but how are they making money? They're making money through monetization, clicks, the number of applicants. They make money through volume, not through quality. And why this is important is that we know that this promotes ultimately poor job seeker behavior, because applying to an extremely large amount of jobs is not necessarily going to cause you to get a great job. And it's probably not how you should be looking for a job. Now, what we're trying to do here is we're not trying to be negative about the services that Indeed or LinkedIn offer. We think that there's a lot of value in using these services. But what we're trying to emphasize is that these services might not be geared solely towards the needs of the job seeker, and that job seekers are having problems looking for jobs in 2016, and we're trying to paint a picture of why this may be happening. These resources we just described, in addition to most other job boards, are what at our company we call transactional resources, meaning they're resources that we log on to and we serve a transaction. I apply to a job. I apply to a job. This is similar in our mind to buying and selling stocks. Now, if I go onto the stock market and start buying and selling stocks based on whims or loose fits that I think I see, I'm probably not going to make that much money. I'm likely not going to become Jimmy Buffett or Warren Buffett. I said Jimmy Buffett. That's kind of a funny slip up. But the reason for that is because we need to do research into stocks we want to pick. We need to make sure that we're making educated decisions. And we see applying to jobs and executing on a job search as being the same way. What we've seen in the last decade and a half is that technology has not evolved in parallel to support the needs of job seekers. Technology has focused solely on solving the problems of employers. And this is where we as a company really differentiate ourselves. And that's also because we're reacting to what we're seeing in the market and the challenges that many of our job seekers are facing. There's a number of challenges that are faced by job seekers, and we wanted to use the technology to highlight some of their challenges, but we also have done research, and we want to bring your attention to some other information that we found. One of the largest recruiting associations in North America says that job seekers face 5 challenges. There's too many places to look, these powerful aggregators, job boards, and hiring resources. There's uninformative job descriptions. They don't have enough information. When they walk into interviews, they do not have as much information as a company does. And they are not able to set themselves apart and in this world with so many opportunities. They can have a confusing hiring process, and often employers don't give them any feedback. Now, software can't change all of those things. We can't help and start convincing employers to start providing more feedback to the people they're interviewing, but we think we can solve some of these other problems. What we really believe, and what our research shows us, is that job seekers require support through the process. At our core, we don't believe that job seekers struggle at finding opportunities. They can use Google. They can go on the internet and find opportunities in the field they're looking at. What they do struggle at is executing on these opportunities. This quote really highlights this for us. 43% of chief financial officers polled said the job interview is where the candidate makes the most mistakes. This isn't surprising to us because if we jump back 10 slides, we can now see that with technology, there is often not an interpersonal communication, relationship, or interaction until the interview stage, because software can whittle down 100 resumes into 5 candidates based on what your job description is looking for and what they've identified in their resume. But job seekers struggle at preparing for the interview, walking in properly prepared, and impressing the executives that they're interacting with. Most importantly, job seekers also struggle to communicate soft skills. Interviews are formal settings. They're intimidating settings. You're often sitting across the table from somebody that you know nothing about, that you've never interacted with, and you're going to start communicating in a way that is much different than your actual interactions going to be at work if you're successful in getting the job. And that's why employers have started to pivot towards social recruiting and referrals, because 60% of employers struggle to identify candidates with soft skills. And so that's why job seekers need to build soft skill validation through networking and relationship management. So let's talk a little bit about what our customers typically have and how we've learned about this problem. Our customers typically have and own a job board of some sort. It's a two-sided marketplace. These are their primary resources to give opportunities to students. And we think these services provide a lot of value. At the end of the day, Students need opportunities, and if those opportunities are tailored towards a specific type of university or college or job seeker, those are extremely high value opportunities. But these services do not cover the entire job search. They are not helping job seekers prepare for interviews. They're not teaching them how to network. They're not teaching them how to identify opportunities in their community to go out and build real relationships with potential employers. And so that is what Career JSM does. Our unique technology offers support to job seekers through the entire process. From interacting with transactional resources such as job boards, company websites, or social networks, we will track that engagement. We help job seekers learn how to network. We send them research on the companies they're interacting with. We show them events that are happening in their community. We show them how to reach out in a proactive way and engage contacts. We help job seekers execute on their opportunities while interacting directly with our customers, who are often providing in their career center or in their outplacement organization one-on-one coaching, seminars, or events. So we're nearing the end of our quick webinar, and I just wanted to highlight 3 key takeaways that we're hoping you would take out of this webinar from what we've learned over the last year of working with a lot of job seekers. The first takeaway is that all the innovation has been employer-centric. It's been focused on solving the problems of employers, and that, as a result, has changed the experience for job seekers. Second, employers are moving away from transactional resources. They still use job boards and hiring resources, but now they are more likely to embed a job board on their own website, use social media to promote that application, use employee referrals, because they want to get genuine, real relationships built with the job seekers that they're trying to recruit. And then finally, at the end of the day, because of all of this change in the HR ecosystem, more burden has been placed on the job seeker. Now the job seeker cannot just go and find an opportunity, use a job board, and get a resume. Their job search has become more complex, more challenging, and more difficult to execute. And that's where we at Career JSM are trying to lessen that burden for the job seeker. And so, on that note, I'd like to conclude. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to participate with us. And we've got about 5 minutes left. And so, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the question box on the platform, and I can answer it. All right, we have our first question. How are you helping students learn networking skills? Oh, well, thanks for asking that question. We didn't want this webinar to be solely about our product, but at a high level, the way that we are helping students learn networking skills is through two things. The first is our application will connect with job seekers' existing contacts so that they can learn how and be shown how to proactively reach out to people within their network. We don't just sync with their contacts, but we also provide them templates to show them how to proactively reach out to their contacts. In addition, we know that going to events and meeting with people at networking events is an extremely important part to managing a great networking process. And so when we know the interest of a job seeker, we will actually aggregate events and show them how to proactively reach out and engage their networking contacts. If you'd like a more robust demo of our product, just feel free to email me. My email is on the screen, jeffrey@careerjsm.com, and we'll set up a private demo. All right, second question, which will be our final question because we're coming up for 2 p.m. What has the feedback from your customers been on your product impact? So I would say that the biggest feedback that our customers have had is that our product is helping their students do things that their career centers have often been recommending that these students do in the first place. And so our customers have constantly told us that their best job seekers do interview prep, are great at networking, can manage a structured job search, but they found that when they implement our product, these skills start being developed by students across the spectrum. And so not just their most engaged students. But if anyone is interested in setting up a private demo, we could speak a lot more in depth about our customer success, metrics, and experiences that we've had so far. On that note, we're coming up to 2 o'clock, and so we are going to end the webinar. But if anybody else has any questions, they can follow up with us directly, and we will be reaching out for some feedback. Have a great day.